Our chief here with us tonight to explain much better than I could the need for this special equipment. I have a motion for, I'll introduce later. Could you please come up to the podium, chief?
Good evening, everyone. Good to see you again.
Chief, you have two motions before us, committee tonight. One is for the patrol vehicles, and the other for the ballistic shields. I know I talked with you at length about it, but my reasoning is to give my counselors, fellow counselors, a chance to hear it direct from you. Sure. So, if you would talk about the active shooter patrol vehicles first.
Sure. So, I believe the mayor sent down my backup letter regarding the reasoning
I
behind
don't
it.
think he sent it down, to be honest with you.
You
It's
guys-
in here. Well, we probably did, but I don't think
It's
we all
in
got
here.
it. No.
Huh?
It's in here.
Oh, okay. That's why I asked you when I come in.
Yeah, I
Maybe-
think the committee got it.
Just
Or maybe just the committee, yeah, whatever.
Okay.
So, this pains me for even asking for this funding because it explains, well, it doesn't shine a good light on our society. The mere fact that I have to ask for this type of funding, for these type of resources. Then I put that in the bottom summary paragraph on the funding request. Nevertheless, after the Uvalde, Texas incident, and that mass shooting, horrific tragedy, I conducted an assessment of our active shooter response, and obviously we did training this past July at the new high school, and a lot was learned from our review and our potential response. And it's sad, and it's sad to say that we can't fall back on the old adage of it's not going to happen in our community anymore, as we just seen the other night, another active shooter with a lot of loss of life. So the key to success is preparation, not preparation H. We need to be prepared, and in my assessment, we need to do better in preparing our city. If we were in an executive session, I get into the nitty-gritty on what needs improvement. I don't ask this council for much at all. I don't come before you and ask you for frivolous funding. So when I ask it, it means it's important. And these two vehicles will be able to carry all the equipment and resources that we need to respond. The current vehicles, I'd be glad to bring you over and show you if you want to come see it. They're not equipped to handle all the equipment, to carry all the equipment. It's amazing on how the vehicles have changed over the years. When I first started, there was an LTD. The trunk was the size of Montana. They're getting a little smaller, a little boxier, and the equipment that we carry with the electronic trays and what have you in the back, and I'd be glad to show you that. We just can't carry everything that we need for the breaching tools, the heavy armor shields, and the other active shooter equipment, among the other equipment that we need to carry on a day-to-day basis, such as the EMT supplies. And I put a bunch of the resources that we currently carry in the cruisers now. We just can't take on anymore. All right, that begs a question: how do we respond then? All right, several elementary schools, 3 middle schools, and a large high school. We currently we have on the road 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, patrol supervisor, and 2 sergeants. So my idea is that if they're on the road, why don't we supply a vehicle for them that can carry all this equipment, and they can respond in immediate fashion instead of responding to the high school. which you'll see a lot of points to learn from Uraldi. We don't want to be Uraldi. So these vehicles would be equipped, it's a utility-style vehicle. The equipment and the everyday equipment, the active shooter equipment and the everyday equipment could be carried by the sergeants who are on the road. They are the patrol supervisors, and we assign one down towards South Attleboro on the west side and one uptown and on the east side. So there's two sergeants on the road, no less than one sergeant, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So our current status doesn't allow this. Our current resource setup doesn't allow this. If we were in an executive session, I would tell you more, but I don't want to release this publicly or allow people to understand how we need to improve. If that makes sense. So I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Kyle, just as you told me during our conversation, that these two vehicles are going to replace two police cruisers that are out there. So I know it's a big cost, but if you deduct the cost of a police cruiser, equipped police cruiser from them, it isn't that big an extra bite.
That's a great point, and I got to point out Councilor Conti on this. Right now, I'm kind of behind the eight ball with cruises because we started up the traffic unit. I took existing cruises from the line, 3 of them, and shifted them into the traffic unit. We haven't caught up yet. So we are 3 cruises behind on keeping our fleet up. And now we have several vehicles that are over 100,000 miles. It's not a good idea to have a pursuit vehicle over 100,000 miles. Even Ford says that. And you and I talked about this before. We set up the traffic unit, which is going great. It's fabulous. It's working. However, we did not supply the vehicles. I took the vehicles from the line, gave them to the traffic unit. So what am I doing with these 2 vehicles that we have that we're going to shift those to the oldest cruisers to replace those cruisers on the line and take the oldest cars off the line. It's kind of a lateral. So if you take the cost of a cruiser, and the delta is basically what I'm asking for, because we do need to need to figure out what we're going to do with this traffic unit and how we're going to supply the vehicles to it. Because what is it? I stole from Peter to pay Paul. Is that the old saying?
Rob Peter to pay Paul.
Rob Peter to pay Paul. So, and we've had conversations about that, and you've asked me before, and so it's a good point.
Thank you, Council Blair. Kyle, thank you for coming, and I will be supporting this. So I understand this, from what I understand. This isn't any kind of deterrent. This is if an event is occurring, the response time will be decreased. And I know we have the gunshot systems in the school, so this will be, right, and combined with the gunshot systems, we have those responses. I guess my question is, and if it's, forgive any ignorance in the question, but are you aware of any police departments or an approach by law enforcement to work with the school on avoiding these incidents? Are you aware of what we can do to prevent them? And I fully appreciate that the APD is ready to respond accordingly and appropriately and in less time, and I'm fully supportive of that. It makes me sick to think about it, but is there anything else on the other side, Kyle, that you're aware of as a best practice in law enforcement?
We have our prevention,
Yeah.
meaning that identification, and on the other side of the coin, we have a response if it does happen. So the identification, the prevention aspect of it, we work closely with the school, the adjustment councils, the SRO, the administration, and we do now and time again have students that just may say statements and may not rise to the level of intent, opportunity, and jeopardy of an active shooter, but there's statements that are made, and I think the school, the SRO, and juvenile detective do a great job on intervention and getting that student services. And they always say, see something, say something. So there is the prevention aspect of it, the intervention, and then the response.
Okay.
I think we are very good at training for active shooters. We just have not, we need better resources. My supply budget for the police department is $7,000. If you take $7,000, divide that by 92, I think it comes out to $97 a person. So that's something we need to address in the budget. We're trying to do more with less. Every year, we're told to level fund our budget, and we do. But there's needs. When you ask department heads to level fund their budget, you're not getting the backstory needs of what we truly need to address. You know, and I know the budget's only so much, there's a pie, and if you give more to the fire or police, there's less for the library or rec. I understand that, so we try to stay within our lanes, but when something like this comes up, I would be negligent if I didn't come in front of you, this honorable body, and ask for this if I didn't need it. So, and I think the best investment of any community is our children, and it's a sad state that we have to think this way of having our children go to school. You think about it, we release our custody and give them to the school, and this is, when we were in school, we never had to think about this. An active shooter, right? I mean, I think that's a tragedy in itself. That we have, you know, we have to train our kids about if a bad guy comes out of school with a gun. But that's society we live in, so.
Thank you, Kyle. Thanks, Pete.
Mr. President, first. Mr. Carthy,
Thank you.
you had your home now? Yeah.
For a while, yeah.
Chief, thanks for coming down, and I think you bring up a lot of really cogent and very bone-chilling facts and information. I think we're all saddened by what happened earlier in the week in Colorado. You know, as you know, I've been through some of those active shooter drills, and you're right, we didn't think about this. And, you know, I actually had my son with me when we did it. So I think that the preparation piece that you talk about is urgent. You did mention that, you know, there's a time ad when you have to, you know, you've got the cruiser out in the street. They have to come back to the PD to get the equipment, then go to the school. You know, if you're able to, how much time would you say that adds to the process in terms of quantifying that, what it means in these situations?
It's dynamic, so it all depends on where a cruiser is or who's in the building, who we can load up the cruiser, send it down there, how much we can fit in a car, how much equipment that we can carry in existence with all the other day-to-day equipment that we have. So the bottom line is it depends, but as seconds tick, each second's a life. Think about that. Each second's a life.
Right.
So we have an SRO in the school, but you know he'll have a limited response until the troops get there.
Yeah. Peter,
But
may I ask a follow-up?
Time matters, and this is me as the chief of police in front of this honorable body asking, help me reduce the time and the response.
May I? So, Chief, you and I have worked closely together over the years. I can see the impact this is having on you personally and what it means to you. With these vehicles, the equipment's going to be in the vehicles. So if something like this happens, it's going to increase that response time.
Reduce the response time, absolutely. And 2 vehicles, we can make 2 different entries, 2 different dynamic entries. So, and our schools are very large. You know, we have a very robust school system, a lot of buildings, a lot of entry points, especially with this new high school. So if we have 2 vehicles on the road, we can make 2 entries. That's significant with the tactical gear that we need. Obviously, we want to protect our police officers the best way we can, and I know you were in the military, you understand when you get into a combat zone and they're firing back at you, it's not the most warming spot to be.
One last question, well, actually technically 2, is if you think it's worthy and it's important and critical enough, we can certainly work a time where we can schedule an executive session. So we can talk about that offline for sure. The other thing is, we talk about the gunshot detection in the schools. Can you walk us through how is this equipment going to interact with that, and where are we? Because I've heard some concerns that we might not be as far along with that gunshot detection as we need to be.
Well, the detection systems aren't up and running yet. We're waiting on the IT school department. We're ready to go on our end. We're waiting for the school IT to allow, so the school IT, the school department's on a different network than the city. So our network can't talk to their network, and we have to be allowed access into their network, or their network has to be allowed access out. So the system is installed, it's ready to go. The sensors are up in every school. We're just waiting on the IT for the school department to configure the servers to allow us to get notification of an active shooter incident detection in dispatch.
Excuse me, Kyle. I made a phone call a little over a week ago to the superintendent directly. And I thought that their IT guy got back to you.
And that was the first hurdle, yes. So then, and the superintendent was fantastic. He was awesome. And that allowed us to move forward. So if you think of a football field, you're moving the ball down the field, there's several yards that you got to pick up. So the superintendent's been fantastic to work with. Obviously, he's not the IT department. So he made that phone call, and he moved the ball down the field. Now it's come to the point where the IT department at the school just needs to finish the rest of the job. But
Want me to make another call?
you know, I run the police department. I don't run the school department. But I must say, you know, to defend the superintendent, he's been fantastic. He's been great to work with.
When I talked to him, I got the impression he was in the dark.
Yeah, obviously he's a busy man. I don't know everything that goes on in the PD. I'm busy too, day to day. You know what I mean? But we try, and we try to stay informed and everything else. But it's just, you know, when I call him, he's very responsive. But I know his IT department is, you know, overburdened like all of us, and they're trying to get things done. It's just I don't have the authority to tell them what to do. All right, so
Wow.
I'm trying to be very.
Yeah, I didn't mean to put you in the spot.
No,
Brian. I was unaware of this.
I understand. It's out of my hands, and hopefully it can get done sooner than later.
All right. Well, thank you.
Who's next? I made the rounds. Go ahead, Rich.
Chief, I'm in full support of your request, and I'd be shocked if this council denied it for you, especially given that just a couple of weeks ago, we gave just a little bit less to a nonprofit. So I don't think your ask is that big. But I think that the next administration has to do a vehicle replacement analysis that was kind of started and dropped because it's really not a council feature, function. It's a department head function. And I'm curious as to the revenues being generated by the traffic control unit. I'm wondering whether or not we should set up a revolving account for police car purchases through the funds that are generated by the traffic control unit.
We do. We have a revolving fund, and actually Chief Saborin was the one who set it up, but I believe it was back in 89, 90. I believe is when Mayor Robbins and him set it up, and it worked fabulous. It worked great until this about, now it's going to be 13 or 14 years ago. The state conducted an audit at the local district courthouses throughout the state, and what was happening was there were fines and assessments and fees being sent to the local municipalities where the state said, oh, no, that's our money, not yours, and they redirected the funds to the Treasury General Fund.
100%?
We lost a lot of revenue, to the point where we could not keep up. We could not keep up buying cruises. So we went from maybe 7 cruises purchased a year down to 2, maybe 1. And that's when Mayor Dumas challenged me to say, figure out a revenue. I don't have any money to give you. So that's when we went on, we did the tow bid. And the tow bid brought in revenue to purchase 3 vehicles. And so now this vehicle assessment fees from motor vehicle citations basically is kind of a support mechanism to keep the fleet running. But the problem is, as the fleet gets older, more maintenance has to go into the fleet. If the fleet is newer, it's less maintenance.
So Chief, on the revenues generated by the traffic control unit, do we lose 100% to the state?
We lose 50.
We lose 50%?
So then, then it's broken down even more. The general fund gets 25%, the police department gets 25%. So if it's a $100 citation, we get $25 to buy cruisers for that. The general fund gets $25.
So even if we were to change that revolving account to 100% to the police department for vehicle replacement, it would not put you in a position where you could replace 2 or 3 cars a year.
Not going back to what the revenue was earning back when Chief Saborin was here or Chief Pierce was here. Not after that state audit. The district court state audit redirected all those funds. We'll never get back to that point. We will never. If we increase the traffic unit, yes, we could generate more funds. Because what's going on, and we run cars on the streets that are answering calls to service, making arrests, doing reports. Now we have a dedicated traffic unit that can concentrate on traffic. And I understand this honorable body gets phone calls all the time about traffic complaints, because I do, the mayor does, I know you people do. And this traffic unit has been fabulous to direct our resources into those problem areas. But since day one, we haven't treated it as a revenue-generating unit. You know what I mean?
In the beginning, we thought that might be a 5-person unit.
I'd love to get it up to that point.
What's in the way?
Right. Funding, money, hiring people to support the unit, meaning that
So there's a balance there. I mean, you've got 3, there's a revenue generating. If you went to 5, it'd be more revenue generating. It wouldn't be that much of a hit on the salary line because there's money coming in on the other side. And you've got 2 cars now dedicated to the traffic control unit? 3. So you wouldn't need to add any other vehicles with 5 staff.
there's a sergeant and 2 patrolmen assigned to the unit right now. When we rolled this out, there was going to be 4 patrolmen and 1 sergeant. But I was thankful for what the mayor and the city council gave me. So don't think I'm trying to bite the hand that fed me.
I don't want to vary too far off the subject, but I think you and I should have a conversation about this offline before budget season. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome. Who's next? Michael.
I don't know where to start now. Sorry. I apologize for the delay. President Delcio brought up one thing. Can we get like a date on when we think you're going to get the IT to get this going? Is that something that we can do? Being that the importance.
My understanding is they got the servers in their workshop. They need to convert them, so those I believe it's 2 servers need to be configured, sent back to us on the city side. Then my understanding is it would be active, and then we could do our training and roll it out.
I would discourage any kind of dates or is secured for
Yeah, it's a good point.
I'm just trying to,
sure
get the urgency, because it is something important, as you stated. But what my real question was, and one, I definitely am going to support this, no question at all. But were you saying that it's like 100,000 miles on the vehicles and then they get traded in?
Yeah, 100,000 miles is the cap you want. It's really unsafe to go past 100,000 miles because of the condition of the vehicle it's in at 100,000 miles. That's a lot of wear and tear on a vehicle, as Council Blair can tell you. And we don't drive it like the library or the rec department. These are hard miles.
Yeah.
And that's why we're very, very aware of who's working on our vehicles, because it's a safety issue.
Yeah, now are these going to be like special interceptor engines on these, or are they going to be regular 6.2 liters?
No, they'll have the, anti-sway bar pursuit rated.
Yeah.
Specially designed for the police pursuit rating and everything else. not your ordinary, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. There's that sway bar mechanism. I'm not a subject matter expert, but.
Yeah.
So, and
Yeah.
and it's on a state bid also.
I was just more, well, a little concerned of, one, you're gonna get an engine that's gonna last, and an engine that's gonna have the power that you're gonna need to react and get to somewhere quickly like you would on a regular
Yeah,
police vehicle.
yeah, that was all spec'd out
Yeah.
by the subject matter experts that we need to
Alright.
tell us what, so.
Thank you, sir.
A lot of thought went into this, and like I said, I wouldn't be standing before you if I didn't think this was very necessary.
Who hasn't got to speak? Yes, Laura.
you. I will be supporting this, and so if you get these 2 trucks, what will you be short for vehicles? Will that be, I thought it was now you're down 1?
So these 2, mind you, that as it's been over a year that the traffic unit's been rolled out, so we didn't purchase any vehicles for the traffic unit. I took existing vehicles off the line to give them to the traffic unit. Now, these vehicles, when they get purchased, will go to the 2 supervisors' vehicles. Those 2 supervisor vehicles will be able to shift over. Now, mind you, the supervisor vehicles also have high mileage, so it's a temporary fix on a gap measure, right? But at least it helps stop the bleeding. So,
Ideally, besides it being Christmas morning, if you could, do you need 2 vehicles? Do you need 1?
on Christmas morning, 7 vehicles per year would be fantastic. Please remind you, we have detectives' vehicles, we have the pop unit, we have the traffic unit. So we try on the line to keep the car down at least 8 hours a day, so it's only driven 16 hours a day. That stretches the cruiser out to 3 years of service to approximately 100,000 miles, approximately. If we went with just say, if we shrunk our fleet down and we say we're gonna buy 12 cars, and those 12 cars are used every day, we have to buy 12 cars every single year. So that's well over $1 million a year. That would me coming back to the city council and saying, hey, I need $1.5 million for 12 new cars a year, because they'd be driven 24 hours a day. And this, I didn't think this up. It was actually Chief Saborin thought this up. If we could just down a car for 8 hours a day, drive it 16, we could stretch the life for 3 years. And then we could shrink our purchase every single year. So I think right now it's $355,000 in the line item to purchase cars each year. That was before the inflation went through the roof. And now it's taken it's over a year now to get a cruiser. A Ford, not these trucks that I'm asking for these days, for a regular Ford utility, it's taken over a year now. We ordered some July 2nd. We probably won't get those July, August, maybe 2023. And that's how delayed this process is of getting cruises.
Just the ballistic shields, are those like you see on TV, like that they hold and that protects?
Those are the big boys.
That's what you're getting?
Those are like the bunkers, yeah. Those are the
clear.
Those are the ones that you want if somebody's shooting at you for full body protection.
But that's what you're getting, right? Okay. I was just, trying to picture in my mind what they were.
Which ones are you talking about? The ones we're going to carry in the vehicles, or the?
I don't know. Whichever ones you're purchasing.
So
Let's finish this up and we'll get to the shields, Laura.
Oh, that's fine. I thought we
right.
were talking about both, but that's all right.
I wanted to do one at a time,
worries.
so we didn't switch back and forth.
No
Laura.
worries at all. However you want to do it.
All right. Has anybody got any questions about the vehicles? I hope we're all on board with it. Okay. The shields. Now, we already have some shields, the big ones, right? The ones you're asking for, are more or less a personal shield?
correct.
Okay, that's why I wanted to separate it. These are gonna be carried in every cruiser?
So every cruiser and the detectives will get them also. So and these are they're approximately like 2 feet by a little more than 2 feet, so 2 feet by 2.5 feet. It's protection, but it's I don't want to speak publicly.
Yeah, it is.
It's protection for the police officer to make an entry and it's personal protection for the police officer for ballistic protection. The big bunker shields, like the ones a lot bigger, a lot thicker, if that makes sense. So right now, these officers don't have these in their cruisers. So you understand that.
This will add to that protective vest they were wearing. It's like doubling practically what a vest will do.
And this coincides with the training we're doing, and it's a good time to mention, we're also doing active shooter training in December at Sasada. So we're training heavily on this issue. So, but when these vehicles arrive, that's when the heavy equipment, without giving away our tactical response methods, I think you understand what
Yeah, thank you.
Making it short, this will adequately protect our police officers out there to the best extent we can. And it's important for these guys. And just in hiring help, it's nice for them to know you have a town and a chief that thinks of their protection. Just not give them a gun and put them out on the street. Let's give them the equipment they need to protect us, protect our children to the best of our ability. I think Kyle and I agree on that.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
And it's a changing world. It's a vastly changing world. It's different than I became a police officer many moons ago. What these young women and men are facing today was challenges that I never had. So I think, as us leaders of the city, we do need to support them and arm them with the best equipment for their safety also.
any other questions for the chief tonight on these two subjects? Kyle, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you, Peter.
The time you give me when I call is greatly appreciated.
Thank you for your time and appreciate your...
I appreciate you coming down. I hope it's answered the question.
Great. I
Because
appreciate it. Thank
I
you.
was adamant about some equipment a couple weeks ago. I said, now I'm asking you for two expensive vehicles, and I stand by them. I last.
Just a shame that I have to ask for these type of equipment.
No, it is, but
It's been bothering me.
that's the world out there today.
Yeah. Anyway, have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you,
God
Kyle.
bless
Happy
you.
Thanksgiving.
You want to give me a minute? I will go get my paperwork, and I'll run through those motions. I
You want
just-
mine? I'm gonna just use
Yeah,
mine?
yeah, just give me that. That's fine. You saved me a trip.
Yeah. You know what,
Every trip, every,
You going to get that? It might take an hour.
I'll let that slide. Because I really like you.
You know I love you like a brother. Sorry if I can...
Talk about me fine. It's
I
near
know.
the end. It's near the end.
You would have been better off going and getting your own.
It should be at the end of all the motions. You have all the motions?
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Where are we? From the docket of December 6, 2022, I entertain a motion to appropriate $180,435.56 from account 1-000-359-000 General Fund Undesignated Balance Free Cash General Government to account 12100-000-587072 Police trucks to purchase 2 Ford F-250 pickup trucks.
Second.
Any other comments or questions? Hearing none? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. From the docket of December, where am I? From the docket of December 6, 2022, I entertain a motion to appropriate $49,399 from account 1-000-359 general fund, undesignated fund balance, free cash, general government, to account 1210100-587412, police protective equipment to purchase active shooter ballistic shield.
Second.
Any further questions on those particular items? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That's 3-0. Thank you very much for that vote. From the docket of December 6, 2022. Excuse me. I entertain a motion to transfer $2,500 from account 112410000-578300 Citywide Reserve Fund for transfer to account 1650100-530101 Park Professional Services to pay for police details at the 2022 holiday parade.
Second.
This is contractual, but we have to pay these police officers when they do special duties like this. Any questions on that? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. From the docket of November 15th, 2022. No, I believe we voted on that. I'm all done. That was my mistake. We voted on that previous meeting. Somehow it's still there. I have no other business this evening with the committee, Public Safety Committee meeting. I hope to see you next week. Wait a minute, I ain't finished.
Okay.
I hope to see you all next week, and I hope we still maintain that positive attitude towards these motions. Thank you. Move to adjourn at 7:08. Have a
Second.
second? All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you.
I would call the License Committee to order at 7:08. And we have quite a few motions. You've been busy. I would, on the docket of December 6th, I would entertain a motion to approve the following 18 Class 2 renewal applications. Trusted Auto, Inc., 64 Pleasant Street with 5 customer parking spaces and 18 display spaces. Marcus Vitale, DBA Greco's Auto, with 10 customer parking spaces and 31 display spaces. Route 123 Village Auto Sales, Inc., 1076 Pleasant Street, with 15 customer parking spaces and 15 display spaces. Auto Mazed, Inc., 826 Washington Street, with 13 customer parking spaces, 80 display spaces, and 38 storage spaces. Michael A. Ziarko, DBA Mike's Automotive, 801 South Main Street, with 10 customer parking spaces and 15 display spaces. Mario Feria, DBA Pinecrest Motors, 2117 County Street, with 5 customer parking spaces, 15 display spaces. Vachon Motor Company, 957 Washington Street, with 12. State Line Auto Brokers, Automotive Group, Inc., DBA Toy Cars Motorsports, and Pleasant Auto Center, 676 Pleasant Street, with 17 customer parking spaces and 94 customer parking spaces. And 40 display spaces. 923 Washington Street. 7.
Second.
Thank you very much. That for Auto with 10 customer parking spaces and 31 display spaces.
Second.
No issues here. I would recommend that we vote for this. Any discussion? Coin-op automatic amusement renewal from the Portuguese American Club, 65 Prairie Ave, for 1 pool table.
Second.
And this is every year, the Portuguese Club. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
And aye, 3-0, pass. From the docket of November 15th, 2022, I entertain a motion to hold a public hearing on December 6, 2022 regarding the Class 2 license renewal application from 100% Auto Wholesale LP, 21 Washington Street, for 10 customer parking spaces and 28 display spaces. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. This public hearing was, and I just heard about it a couple of days ago. It was not a request, it was made personally to me. It went through our council president, I believe. And the lawyer is relatively new to the case and wants to have a chance to speak to the issues. Yes, Councilor DeSimone.
So I'm just curious, I'm not aware of anything in our rules or precedents to have someone outside the body called for a public hearing. Has this been done before? I'm not necessarily opposed to it, but I'm curious about the process. Has anybody else seen this done? Or someone outside the body has made a request for a public hearing?
Councilor Kobus, please speak to this.
I
I think it's a very complicated license application that we have here, so, and that concludes my comments.
Thank you. Councilor Blair.
I don't think to ask for a public hearing. They had ample time. They knew what was going on. They had ample time to bring a lawyer with them. It's definitely, I've been here 23 years now, right, and I've never seen an outside person ask for a public hearing. They can come before council of the whole if it's any matter that's before the city council, but not a public hearing.
My first can I respond to that?
Yeah, I just didn't know you'd seen Richard with his hand up.
When you're ready.
You'll be next. The lawyer for the case called me last week,
Yeah.
after the last time that we met with the owner of 100%. So I don't even know if there was a lawyer at the time that the owner met with us, not to my knowledge. If you don't mind, could President Delicio speak to this for a second?
Council Conti was first, that's fine.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Councilor Conti.
So, having surrendered 2 years of my life writing the rules and procedures for the council, I don't like giving this attorney an opportunity to ask for a public hearing. I agree with Councilor Blair that he can come at the committee of the whole and address the council on the committee of the whole and have his 5 minutes with the council. But I don't think that your committee should vote to have a special public hearing just to accommodate an attorney for an applicant. And I would hope that your committee turns this down, because I don't like the precedent that it starts. Now, I do think that, I've learned my lesson, that there should be a public hearing whenever possible. And I'm thinking of the pavilion as an example, and the senior center. So I've learned that we should provide a public hearing, but not a second public hearing. And my attitude to that is the same as it was with the developers who are looking for a second bite of the apple. You get your chance, you don't get a second chance. So prepare for that chance, make a case for that chance, present your, and we move on. So I don't like changing the council procedures in this direction where anyone can call for a public hearing. And I would urge your committee to please turn it down instead of setting a precedent. And that concludes my comments.
Thank you very much. President Delicio.
Thank you. So as Council Waterman implied, he has been in touch with us, with Ty, with myself. He asked for a public hearing if this body would be willing to entertain one based on some of the comments, and which were quite pointed at the last meeting. So I said, we'll introduce it, we'll see if it comes up or down, that's fine. Given the precedent, well, we've called for public hearings for things that haven't necessarily needed a public hearing throughout this term. So the way it came down is I was approached. I talked with Virginia. I said, can we talk with Mr. Waterman, create a motion? If it goes up, it goes up. If it goes down, it goes down. But at least we're giving the process an opportunity to be listened to, so we can make sure that all parties have the opportunity to be heard in this. So whatever this committee decides, this committee decides.
Could I ask President a
Yes, you
question
may.
through the chair?
You may respond.
So, Mr. President, do you agree that this attorney could appear in front of the council as a committee of the whole?
I'd have to take a look at that where the piece of business is still in front of us. You know, if that's an option, then I think that's a fine option as well. I think I can find that out for sure. I know there's times that there's some constraints with committee of the whole, but, you know, we have time before the 6th to, even if, you know, you wanted to call for it. It's really, it's up to this committee, whatever they want to do. But the request was made. We had different public hearings throughout this term that didn't necessarily need public hearings, but we made that concession anyway.
So, if I can follow.
You may, just
So,
follow.
the memo from our city solicitor is not fresh in my mind about public hearings, and I know she wrote one.
There's public hearings versus public meetings.
Right, that's what it was. So, would it be wise for this committee to hold off this vote until we get an opinion from the city solicitor on a second public hearing?
Yeah, I would certainly allow Councilor Waterman to reach out to the solicitor and see if she feels that it would be a meeting versus hearing. But again, we just have to make sure that we're crossing the Ts and dotting the Is.
Which is why I think consulting with the city solicitor might be a wise idea.
I wouldn't be opposed to that.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Councilor DeSimone.
Yes, so two things. Number one, I don't think we've had a public hearing in regard to renewing this applicant's license. We have not had a public hearing, number one. That's number one. But number two, I disagree with President Delicio. When this body decides to call for a public hearing on an issue that is relevant and perhaps deserves that kind of attention in public participation, that is our choice. What I have an issue with is someone outside calling and saying, can I get a public hearing? I don't know that that's the precedent we want to be setting. And I do agree with Councilor Conte. I would rather err on the side of public hearings, but it's the way this is happening that I have an issue with, not having a public hearing, but the way this is happening. Thank you.
Thank you. President Delicio.
Thank you. I'm not sure how it's happening, and I don't want to go around and around because it's not helpful for anyone, but it's coming down. There's discussion. The committee's deciding whether or not they want to have the public hearing, which I'm not sure what's wrong with that. The discussion's happening, and we are literally having a choice whether we want to have it or not.
Thank you. Councilor Holmes, and then Councilor Reynolds and Councilor Angela.
Thank you. There is also an opportunity, I am against this. There's also an opportunity to just invite that individual to the committee as well. So that could also be an option. We have delayed this for a long time. I know this is the second time this has come around because there was the vote that actually just kind of expired. So I'm hoping to see some movement on it in the sense that it does have to come before us and we do have to vote. So if there's an opportunity to invite this individual to us and we can kind of ask the questions that we need to, and then just kind of moving forward with voting it out of committee and letting us all kind of speak to it. I think that it's a very complicated, like I had mentioned earlier, complicated license. So again, I appreciate your work with that. That concludes my comments.
Thank you. Councilor Reynolds.
So I was basically going to suggest the same thing, that they just come before us in committee, that you don't take this out of committee at this time, that you bring him in to speak, both of them, with his attorney. That's basically what's happening here. And they get to speak. And then after we hear that, if we feel there should be a second, whether it be a public hearing or a public meeting, we determine that. But at this point, I think this gentleman has hired an attorney. And I think what the attorney is trying to do is kind of prevent any suit or further aggravation by airing what he thinks might have been said or done improperly, or he's just trying to defend his client. So I don't think we have an issue, or should have an issue, with allowing them to come forward at the next committee meeting. That's my thought, and that's where I would suggest to you that that's where you put it, in a committee meeting.
And Councilor Angelo.
I could be wrong, and I apologize if I am, but if you were to have the public hearing, not only are you able to bring the attorney down, this other person to speak, but you also have the opportunity to bring other people that have had issues with them and give them the opportunity to address this in person as well, too.
That's true.
So you're also being fair to the others, and you might get a better insight of, did this happen a year ago? Was it taken care of? You know, we have some letters, but you might get a little bit more of the truth, and you might get some better questions answered by doing it that way. That's just my opinion.
If I may respond to that, Councilor Angelo, that is what I have begun to think about. This is an opportunity for some other folks to come in too.
Yes, you're allowing a fair process through the whole thing.
Yes, Councilor.
So, we already had the public hearing, we allowed the fair process.
That's right.
And only he showed up. I've contacted some of these people, and I know, you know, I'm not a fan of killing stuff in committee, so I'd be happy if you wanted to make it not a public hearing and have them come before the committee. I'd be fine with that. And this has been dragging on a long time, and we need to get this taken care of. So, if you have them in your committee, nobody else is going to be able to show up, if anybody was going to before, which nobody did. And I think, I don't feel like we did anything improper to this gentleman when he came before us. We asked him fair questions, everything that we had in front of us. So I'm on the sense, Council Reynolds, that he's here to defend his client, more or less. So, you know, you're the chair, I'll be fine either way, but I do agree with somebody from the outside calling for an additional public hearing after he's been to committee. We had a public hearing, and now this is gonna be their third round. So, you're the chair, so.
Councilor DeSimone, do you have anything else to add?
I want to state again, I don't believe we had a public hearing on this issue.
Oh,
We came
excuse me,
to committee.
you're right.
Okay, I just want to be
The public hearing
clear.
was on his revocation.
And look, I appreciate what the attorney's trying to do for his client. My concerns are those I've already stated. I do appreciate Council Holmes and Council Reynolds' suggestion. Perhaps we keep it in committee. The attorney and the client can come, as can consumers who had complaints. Because I think that was the issue expressed last time, that they wanted to hear from consumers. So let's have everybody at the party and do it in committee.
Okay. So a no means, in my mind, and I may be wrong, yeah, first, Councilor Clovis.
Can I suggest one path forward, which might be to call for a committee meeting next week at 6:30 to have this individual,
Fifth week.
What I hear.
Fifth Tuesday.
sorry, in 2 weeks, the first week of the month, what's that, the
sixth.
Committee meeting that day to allow the individual to speak, but then potentially vote it out of committee, and then we can vote it in front of the full council. That way, we're not dragging this on. I know the end of the year is coming up and all of that, and I think this is something that we want voted out before the end of the year. So I think that would be an acceptable path forward for us. That way we can get it voted, we can give the attorney a chance to speak before the committee. I don't know what you think is your committee, so I'll defer to you, but I think that might be a good path forward.
Shouldn't come out.
I agree with that.
What is he saying?
So if we vote no to this, that is the path that I would follow. That we would meet December 6th at whatever time we decide. We can decide now, 6:15 maybe, something like that. But before we go any farther, Councilor Blair,
Might I make a suggestion?
please.
Why don't you leave it in committee,
That's right.
not vote on it tonight? Because if you vote on it tonight, you're gonna have to go through the process all over again.
Well, that's for the public hearing, right?
No,
Yeah, it sits in the.
it's not a public hearing.
No, that's what the motion is, though.
That's what the motion was.
I would, well, vote it down then, but definitely don't vote yes on it, thinking that's going to be the answer. But if you vote it down, I think the easiest way is the way it's been presented. Get in touch with him. December 6th, he's welcome to come before the committee with his lawyer, and,
And then you strike this
yeah,
after
It-
the next meeting.
you're not,
So I'll
First
withdraw
of
my
all-
second, if that's what you want to do.
Yes, I think Councilor Blair has a very good idea. Would you be willing to withdraw?
Yep, I withdraw my
Thank
second.
you. All right, there is no motion there. Moving along. And I will say to the committee that we will set a time and get back to you, and I will contact the lawyer or president or vice president of our council. We'll decide on contacts. Let's see, where are we? From the docket of November 15th, 2022, we received a letter from Dominic Lanzillo, Norfolk, oh no,
think we already
that's
did- we already
not a
did
motion. We are finished with the motions. Is there any further discussion? Okay, thank you. So I would say that concludes the business of the License Committee. Let us call for an adjournment. All those in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, none. And that concludes the meeting at 7:31. Thank you.
I'd like to call Public Works to order at 7:31. I have three motions. From the docket of December 6, 2022, I entertain a motion to appropriate $25,000 from 6100-359000 Water Enterprise Fund retained earnings to Fund 3338 effluent valves to 4 filter effluent valves and controllers at the West Street plant.
Second.
Thank you. So this is, well, all 4 of these valves need to be replaced. And I guess back in April, we had approved funding for this project. And we gave the job to the lowest bidder, but the lowest bidder backed out because they don't have enough help. And they can't do the job, so we had to go to the second lowest bidder, which is an additional $25,000. And all 4 valves need to be replaced. So that's where we are with this. Does anybody have any other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. From the docket of December 6, 2022, I entertain a motion to transfer $1,000 from account 6000-578300 wastewater enterprise fund reserve fund for transfer to account 6000-589072 wastewater enterprise fund grit screw to pay for an invoice from Merrick Industries.
Second.
Thank you. So this is a part that we've been waiting for, I guess, like almost a year, and it came in higher than expected. So there's an additional amount we need to pay. Does anybody have any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion passes. Just want to make sure you were with me.
it's half asleep.
I don't have my glasses on, so I didn't know if your eyes were open.
Well, they were, but they weren't paying attention.
From the docket of December 6, 2022, I entertain a motion to transfer $6,600 from account 1124100-5783000 Citywide Reserve Fund for transfer to the following: $4,800 to account 1650100-521010 Park Heat, $1,800 to account 1650100 524011 Park Building Maintenance to replenish funds used to repair the dump truck for the winter season.
Second.
Thank you. So this is to repair, there was a lot of front-end work that needed to be done on this truck. I guess it's a truck that we use for plowing, so it takes kind of a little bit of a beating. And let's see, so it had hydraulic issues. No, excuse me, I apologize. The hydraulic issues were to fix the roadside mower. The other portion is to fix all the front-end work on the truck. Does anybody have any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. That's all the business we have tonight. I call for an adjournment at 7:34.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you.
I'd like to call the Finance Committee to order at 7:34. Sitting on this committee are Councilor Corbus and Councilor Reynolds. I have several matters to bring before you this evening from the docket of December 6th, 2022. I entertain a motion to appropriate $1 million from account 1000-359 undesignated fund balance free cash general government to account 241-000-596-000 citywide stabilization fund.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Corbus. The department, the Division of Local Services, which is the management union of the Massachusetts Department of Revenue that oversees the Bureau of Local Assessment, recommends that cities and towns have a stabilization fund somewhere between 5 and 7% of their annual budget. We're not there. The former mayor did a fine job of trying to contribute $250,000 every year and found that in the budget. And this year, with $9 million in free cash, this mayor has decided to add $1 million to the stabilization fund, which I find to be very appropriate. And we don't get this kind of an opportunity every year. By adding $1 million into the stabilization fund, we help our chief finance officer to lower the bond rating from the major bond rating agencies. One of the things they look at is the stabilization fund. Another thing they look at is how the city council allocates money and the balances that the auditors produce every year. So this could have a potential long-term positive impact on the city. And I didn't realize Councilor Reynolds was absent and Councilor President Delicio's absent.
Would you like me to get them?
Just you and me, buddy. If you could pull them in, I'd like to have their vote on it.
Two of us can vote.
Two of us can vote, but it's $1 million.
It'll come before the full council.
Sorry to disturb you.
No, I'm so sorry. It was an
So we're
important
discussing
vote.
$1 million donation, transfer to the
Yeah.
stabilization fund.
Yes.
Because it's $1 million, I'd like to have a full.
Yes, I appreciate that, and I apologize.
So I'll reread the motion for your benefit. I entertain a motion to appropriate $1 million from account undesignated fund balance free cash general government to the citywide stabilization fund. And Councilor Corbus has seconded. Is there any discussion?
I have none.
Councilor DeSimone.
Yeah, I'm thrilled about this, and I appreciate this coming down from the administration. As you may recall, back at the budget season, I had pushed forward a request that the administration have a policy on stabilization, particularly in the uncharted waters we're in economically in this world. I am very happy to be putting that money in the savings account, so I appreciate the business. Happy to have it. Thank you.
Councilor Blair's, then Councilor Dolan.
Richard, do you happen to know how much it would take to bring that fund up to what the state would like?
It's gonna take a couple more years like this to get it there. So this is gonna take it to about $6 million, I believe. And
What do they look for?
we're currently at, on June 30th, 2022, we were at $5,612,904.10.
So it'll be 6,600,000, whatever.
Over 6.
And what
It's
is
over
it?
6.
Okay, what is the state?
State says 5 to 7% of our budget, which is 165 million, so they'd like to see
7.5, 8 million.
12 million in the stabilization fund.
No.
What's 7% of 165? I don't have my phone here.
11.5.
11.5. Sorry, I said 12.
My head wasn't working that way. I thought it was a little.
I do this all day long.
And I was going to suggest that we could amend it to get it closer, but if it's that far off,
Yeah, this gets us halfway there, Peter,
okay.
and it's a good maneuver.
Yeah, we're never, ever going to see that kind of money in free cash again, as long as any of us are on this council, I'm sure.
All set?
Yep.
Council Dolan?
I just want to say this is fantastic, and I think that we've done an excellent job. The administration's done an excellent job in the past few years of really beefing up this stabilization fund, and it's exactly what we need to do, and it's the right thing to do, and I'm thrilled for us to be able to do this.
Thank you. So, Council Cobus, I forgot to mention that I will be not here December 6th because I'm appearing in front of the Taunton Municipal Council on their bond change with the Finance Committee, so you will be the chair.
Too easy.
December 6th. And I'll give this to you because this is from the Department of Labor Services. That's why I see the 5 to 7%.
Right. We had talked about that during the budget committee.
And so the motion's in order. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. From the docket of September 6, 2022, I entertain a motion to appropriate $250,000 from account 1000-359000 undesignated fund balance free cash general government to account 115-21000-596-600 personnel transfer to OPEB Trust.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Cobus. The OPEB Trust is other post-employment benefits. And the last time I looked at it, the audit book, which I think was not this year, but last year, was at 69% funded, maybe 70% funded. And the government advisory, government accounting standard board is the regulating agency that looks at OPEB in cities and towns and says, you know, you really should juice this up because you're in jeopardy of going broke. Because if more people retire and take advantage of the other post-employment benefits, it drains the account faster than it can be supplied. The supply comes from us donating money like this, not donating, transferring this $500,000 into the account, plus the account is invested, and the account's invested in the Plymouth County employment, and so there's professional investors, which right now are sucking wind because the market has tanked, and all the more reason why the transfer of $500,000 at this time is a good idea. Are there any discussion or questions or comments? Seeing none, the motion's in order. I'll call for a vote. All in favor say aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously. From the docket of December 6, 2022, I entertain a motion to approve expending of funds and any future grant amendments regarding the $92,000 grant award to Cape Run Park Zoo from the Massachusetts Office of Business Development Grant.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Cobus. The zoo cannot accept this money unless we take this vote. And what they're going to use the money for is for updating exhibits, interactive displays, purchase of equipment and supplies. And it's wonderful that they got the grant in addition to all the wonderful planning that they're doing over there. The interactive displays work with your cell phone now. This is what's happening to our world. So now you can go to the zoo, you can scan a QR code, you can see a movie about the thing that you're looking at and get a deeper understanding. Just a little side effect of how this is changing our lives. I went on a business trip to Martha's Vineyard at the beginning of this week and checked into a hotel that had no other guests. And entered the hotel through my cell phone, entered my bedroom through the cell phone, locked the entire hotel through my cell phone because I was the only person in the hotel. There was no attendant, there was no other guests. What's happening to cell phones is stunning, and it's happening to the zoo as well. That's my point. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, motion's in order, call for a vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes unanimously. From the docket of December 6, 2022, I entertain a motion to transfer $260 from account 11241-000-578-300 citywide reserve fund for transfer to account 1146100-571010 collector in-state travel.
Second.
Thank you. Motion's in order. 62.5 cents is an IRS determined compensation that is not only contractual, it's employment law that you have to pay your employees when they go use their car for personal travel for your municipality. So this is really a no-brainer. Is there any discussion or comments? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes unanimously. From the docket of December 6, 2022, I entertain a motion to appropriate $349,621.41 from account 1-000-359-000 undesignated fund balance free cash general government to account 1300100-551011 school appropriation Medicaid to fund the municipal sharing agreement.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Cobus. So the fund is $801,367.14, and there's a mathematical formula that I think you all got in your package that you take the total and you take the payroll expenses and you take the direct expenses and total Medicaid income and divide it by 2 and turn around and dance, and you get a figure that is $349,621.41 for the school system. Is there any discussion or comments? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes unanimously. From the docket of January 7, 2020, I move to strike the following. Amend the agreement between the city and schools of all Medicaid reimbursements to go to schools.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Cobus. So we just voted on the Medicaid transfer, which we do every year. And I would like to strike this because it's from 2020. And I don't think we see the need to do this. We do it every year. It's automatic. Anyone have any comments or questions? Seeing none, motion's in order. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes unanimously. That completes the business I have for the Finance Committee tonight. Thank you for your participation. I entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion's in order. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes unanimously. I declare the Finance Committee adjourned at 7:47.
That's what this is.
Do you want me to do it? You want to cancel traffic and transportation?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
The Traffic and Transportation Committee is canceled for this evening.
IT and infrastructure is canceled for this evening.
Zoning and Land Use Committee to order at 7:47. I only have one motion this evening. From the docket of September 6, 2022, I move to strike a letter request from Roxanne Houghton of Attleboro to ban all lethal weapons on Attleboro public and conservation lands, including hunting.
Second.
Thank you. So there's going to be some new business that has to do with a potential ordinance change, but this is just a letter that has been in committee for some time, and I don't see any reason for it. And again, a letter, I think that this constituent was upset that a letter didn't create an ordinance out of thin air. A letter from a constituent is just simply a letter from a constituent. So I'm going to be striking this, and then I think that there's going to be new business coming in, if any counselor is interested in doing that. Any further comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. That concludes the business. I'll call for an adjournment
Second.
at 7:48.
I'd like to call...
Excuse me.
I apologize.
I'd like to call ordinance, election, and legislative matters to committee to order at 7:48. I have some updates about, Counselor Bennett is out, and obviously, Counselor DeSimone is not going to be part of this discussion, but I wanted to give everybody a little bit of an update regarding the election date that we're going to be setting. So, as we're aware, the administration is supposed to be submitting a letter tomorrow, and that letter would then start the process for us to create the date for the election. But the Secretary of State has to first certify those votes, and then the Governor Council votes on those certified votes. This process is probably not going to be done until the end of the month. So this is going to get pushed back a little bit. We can't act until we have that letter. So that we can't do anything until we get the letter from the administration that then would say we need a special election. So what we're going to do is December 6th, have a committee meeting. So it's a regular council meeting, but on December 6th at 6:30, we're going to have a committee meeting to discuss this. I have reached out to the elections office, and I hope everybody received the information in the email. And if there's any other questions, you can reach out to Councilor Bennett. And then we are going to vote on this December 13th. We will call for a special meeting. Otherwise, if we don't do that, it's going to get pushed back to December 20th, and we don't want to delay this. Councilor Conti?
Council Holman, I really appreciate your effort. I just want to point out a little danger that you have, is that you're the only person on your committee when Councilor Bennett's gone, because the president can't act on these measures. So you need to communicate with Councilor Bennett that whether or not she's going to be here December 6th, and because you want to be able to have a quorum for a vote. The other thing is that it's my opinion that the mayor's position becomes vacant upon his resignation or his letter. So if he issues a letter on November 23rd, that position is vacant. Is that correct? Is that interpretation correct?
The letter is going to say the date of the opening, I believe. The resignation letter is going to say when it is effective.
So here, let me explain it in a more physical term. If I was a landlord and you were my tenant, and you told me the beginning of December that you were going to leave the apartment on January 1st, in my mind, that apartment is vacant and available for rent January 1st. On December 1st, when you tell me that you're leaving.
Yes.
So that's the way I see the mayor's position, is that if he resigns his position on November 23rd, to be effective December 31st, the position becomes vacant on November 23rd. That's the way I see it. And what I may think you might want to do is ask the city solicitor, and I think you have the direct power to do that because you're the ordinance chair, as to whether or not my view is the view, the legal view.
Okay, I will certainly do that. This is why I wanted to open up the discussion. So asking about when the vacancy is effective.
Right.
But keeping in mind, the administration who I spoke to today was under the impression that the Secretary of State's office was going to certify the votes, and they have a deadline of tomorrow. But he didn't realize that then it goes to the governor's council to vote on the certified votes, which then takes that's another process. So I'm not sure if we're going to receive that letter tomorrow, to be honest with you, because it sounds like the process is going to go closer to November 30th. But I can certainly follow up with the city solicitor about what that date, what that actually means. And then we did receive the communication that had the timeline. And again, if there's any other questions that I need to follow up with, or you feel like Councilor Bennett needs to follow up with, we can get those answered so we can have the discussion on the 6th and then vote before the full council on the 13th. So is there any other, Councilor Waterman?
Well, I'm just wondering where the elections office is going to come in. At some point, there's a minimum amount of time that they can set an election.
That's what the communication said. It said the timeline.
9 weeks.
Yes, so the timeline did explain some of that, but I understand because this is getting pushed back a little bit. Vice President Colbus, did you want to speak to that? Or?
If I could, a couple things. So first of all, the elections office said that they need between 8 to 9 weeks to put everything in place for the special election. So that's the time frame and the basis that we're looking at. So from whenever we call for the special election and look to set a date, the goal will be to set that 8 to 9 weeks later. And also, I believe the intent is to be as transparent with the public as possible and call for to set that date as soon as possible, which is why I believe Councilor Holmes is looking to call for the special committee meeting on the 6th and then a full council meeting on the 13th, just so that we can vote on this one item. Because I do think it's important that we're transparent with the public and set that date as early as possible. As far as what Councilor Conti was talking about with regards to the vacancy. I believe the solicitor has already ruled on that, and I can try to find that and get that to you. But essentially, we need the resignation in order to call for the special election. The charter says that we need to call for a special election forthwith, which is kind of a gray area. So we're looking at the 8 to 9 weeks that the election commission has said is what they need. But so I think once we get the resignation letter, even if he's not out of office, the special election will still happen when there's a vacancy. And by calling for the special election, we'll be having it forthwith. And I believe adhering to what the charter says. I'll try to find that ruling from the solicitor because I believe the mayor's already been looking into it. I think we already have those details.
The only reason why I brought it up is because there was discussion outside of the chambers that among the residents, and I told them what my opinion was, but my opinion is not the solicitor's opinion. And so, in being as transparent as possible, I think it would be nice to air that
Yes,
100%.
on December 6th, and I'm sorry I won't be there.
yes, yes. I completely agree. That's why we're trying to also move this along and not hold back anything. As quickly as we can act, we're going to be acting.
And the one thing I did not anticipate is, and maybe we want to call for that meeting at 6 instead of 6:30, because I believe at 6:30 we're also going to have the meeting, the license committee meeting. So I wasn't planning on two of those.
I
Yeah.
think, yeah.
So it'll be a busy day on the 6th.
Any other comments or questions about the process, or that?
I only have one comment, and
Yes.
I unfortunately I won't be here, I'll be traveling at that time, so, but I will review video after.
Anything else? So I'm going to actually call for a recess because the chair is then going to be coming out. So I'm going to ask for a recess.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
We are recessed at 7:57. Thank you.
Kathleen did sell it off.
I know, sorry.
Is somebody gonna go get her, or?
Oh, well, I think, do we have to do it right now, or can we, yes? Does she
Get
do it,
to
or
it
it doesn't?
when it's
Oh,
her turn.
All right, whatever. Doesn't matter to me.
We can continue. Yes.
Yes.
No.
So I'm going to pick up. Can I resume my meeting?
Yes.
Sure.
All right. So, folks, welcome back. Thank you. I have a few items that I'd like to get out this evening. The first pertains,
Rise from recess.
You
We
have to-
recess.
Oh, yeah, motion to arise from recess.
Second.
But yours next.
But she only recessed, so she's just going to finish, and then I'll do mine. then-
Okay, I'm
yeah.
sorry, all right.
So I make the motion to arise, or second it?
Second,
All those in
yes.
favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. All right, so forgive me while I get myself good to go here. Okay, so 4 items that I'm hoping to get out this evening. We'll start with the easy stuff. I'm on page 16. For the docket of November 1st, 2022, that the committee of the whole be moved to after the public hearings during regular meetings.
Second.
Second. Seems fairly straightforward, seems like a good idea. Any other discussion, comments, concerns? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 2-0. All right, next up. Okay, we're back to the designer selection policy, which you may recall I read a couple of meetings ago. So from the docket. I'm sorry, it's on 17. We're going to start with the policy and then talk about the ordinance. So from the docket of September 6, 2022, I entertain a motion to adopt the designer selection procedures in accordance with section 2-16, the designer selection procedure in the revised ordinance of the city of Attleboro.
Second.
Second, thank you, Council Holmes. You will recall I read it before, and there was a concern particularly about paragraph 22. Nothing in these procedures shall be interpreted to require the establishment of a board or waive or reduce the requirements of any other applicable law or regulation. I reached out again to the administration and the chair of the Municipal Building Commission. I think you all received Jack's email. Jack is full support of this as written with one amendment, well, I will talk about it in a minute. But it is his contention, and I agree, that paragraph 22 simply says that there's nothing in this. So, for example, if the MBC exists and the MBC is appropriate committee to handle the project, that they don't have to be established for the purposes of effectuating this ordinance. They already exist. So if there's a process by which and a board by which these things can be taken care of, you don't have to establish a new board to do so. That's my understanding. Also, it prevents the administration from waiving or reducing the requirements of any other applicable law or regulation. So paragraph 22 is two provisions, and even if the concern was about the first, requiring the establishment of a board, certainly the second, we all can agree that the administration should not be able to waive or reduce the requirements of any other applicable law or regulation. I respectfully ask that we move this forward because we need to. We haven't had a policy, and by law we're required to have such a policy. Comments, questions, concerns? Good. All those in, strike that. Let me back up. Councilor Holmes, it was suggested that we make two small changes. The first is to paragraph 3, to address concerns expressed previously. In paragraph 3, I'm going to add a second sentence. So where it says the mayor shall, paragraph 3, the mayor shall designate the group of individuals hereinafter referred to as the committee who will conduct the designer selection process, I would entertain a motion to insert the following sentence. For projects assigned to the Municipal Building Commission, MBC, the MBC shall be designated as the committee.
Second.
Second, okay. This was suggested by the chair of the MBC, Jack Jacoby, so I think it's an appropriate change. All those in favor of amending paragraph 3?
Aye.
Motion passes. One more small amendment. It's a spelling error in paragraph 12. In the second sentence, it says the mayor or his or her, maybe I already moved it because somebody corrected the spelling of designee. It had been misspelled previously, but it looks like someone caught it, so strike that. Okay. All right. Then I'd now like to back up and ask for a vote on the whole motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 2-0. All right, relatedly, on page 20, we have to adopt the relevant ordinance change. So on the bottom of page 20, from the docket of September 6, 2022, I entertain a motion to approve the following ordinance amendment regarding designer selections procedure. I don't think I read this before, so I'll read it very quickly. Delete in its entirety Chapter 2, Section 16.1, and replace with the following: 2-16.1, a procedure for the selection of designers for building construction, reconstruction, alteration, remodeling, or repair projects with the estimated cost of which exceeds $30,000 and an estimated construction fee which exceeds $300,000 shall be established in accordance with the provisions of General Laws, Chapter 7C, Sections 44-57. No such procedure or amendment to such procedure shall be effective until it is approved by the Municipal Council following a proper advertised hearing. Such procedure shall not apply to the selection of designers for public work projects bid under the General Laws, Chapter 30, Section 39M.
Second.
Thank you. Comments, questions, concerns? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. All right, and now to page 21, as it pertains to the proposed marijuana ordinances. We did receive the vote of the planning board. Everybody got that, I trust? It was forwarded to all. So a couple things I want to point out. Mass General Law requires two things in particular: that this body has to vote on this amendment within 90 days of the public hearing, which is on September 20th, which means we need to have this done and wrapped up by December 20th, or we have to start again basically with a new public hearing. So I'd like to get it out and finalize it, vote it out of committee today, get it before the full council, and be done one way or the other. Secondly, it requires a 2/3 vote of this body, of the full council. That's Mass General Law, Chapter 40A, Section 5, for those of you who are inclined and want to double-check me on both of those things that I just stated to you. So within that context, I'm ready to entertain the motions and get right to it. All right, so we can discuss thereafter. All right. From the docket of August 16th, 2022, I entertain a motion to approve the following amendments to Ordinance Section 17.
Second.
In order to allow marijuana retail businesses to operate in locations zoned as general business and planned highway business, and to amend the revised ordinances of the city as Attleboro as follows: delete Section 17-3.4, Table of Use Regulations, Principal Uses, Community Facilities, Item 11C. Amend Section 17-3.4, Table of Use Regulations, Principal Uses, Community Facilities, to add Item 21 as follows. Item 21, marijuana businesses. I guess I'll have to read them all. Medical marijuana treatment center. B, marijuana cultivator. C, craft marijuana cooperative. D, marijuana product manufacturer. E, marijuana retailer. F, independent marijuana testing laboratory. G, marijuana research facility. H, marijuana transporter. I, marijuana courier. J, marijuana delivery operator. And you'll note as well the corresponding changes in zoning, which pertain mostly for the purposes of today's discussion, to allowing marijuana retailers to operate in addition to industrial business park in planned highway business and general business zones. The new marijuana courier and marijuana delivery operators, there are no permits allowed under those sections at all at this time. Moving along, the motion also requests that we amend Section 17-11.2 definitions by replacing the definition of marijuana establishment as follows. Marijuana establishment means a marijuana cultivator, craft marijuana cooperative, marijuana product manufacturer, marijuana retailer, independent marijuana testing laboratory, marijuana research facility, marijuana transporter, marijuana courier, marijuana delivery operator, or any other type of licensed marijuana-related business except a medical marijuana treatment center, MMTC. Amend 17-11.2 definitions by adding a definition for marijuana courier as follows. Marijuana courier means any entity licensed to deliver finished marijuana products, marijuana accessories, and branded goods directly to consumers from a marijuana retailer, or directly to registered qualifying patients or caregivers from an MTC, but is not authorized to sell marijuana or marijuana products directly to consumers, registered qualifying patients or caregivers, and is not authorized to wholesale, warehouse, process, repackage, or white label. A marijuana courier is an additional license type under MGL Chapter 94G, Section 4B1, that allows for limited delivery of marijuana or marijuana products to consumers and shall not be considered to be a marijuana retailer under 935 CMR 500.002 or 500.050, and shall be subject to 935 CMR 500.0501B. Amend Section 17-11.2 definitions by adding a definition for marijuana delivery operator as follows. Marijuana delivery operator means an entity licensed to purchase at wholesale and warehouse finished marijuana products acquired from a marijuana cultivator, marijuana product manufacturer, microbusiness, or craft marijuana cooperative and white label. Sell and deliver finished marijuana products, marijuana accessories, and marijuana branded goods directly to consumers, but is not authorized to repackage marijuana or marijuana products or operate a storefront under this license. A delivery operator is an additional license under Type MGL, Chapter 94G, Section 4B1, that allows for limited delivery of marijuana or marijuana products to consumers and shall not be considered to be a marijuana retailer under 935 CMR 500.002 or 500.050 and shall be subject to 935 CMR 500.0501B. Amend Section 17-10.15G2, marijuana business uses. Standards for granting of a special permit by amending the second sentence by deleting this license limit does not apply to other marijuana business license types in its entirety and insert in place thereof. This limitation only applies to marijuana retailer use. This provision shall not limit marijuana retailers who are actively being apprehended from choosing to transfer their license to a new location within the city, provided the special permit for the new location shall include a condition that the previous special permit shall be null and void and no additional location shall be created. The resulting language would then read, The special permit granting authority may not grant a special permit for a marijuana retailer if 5 or more are actively being operated. This limitation only applies to the marijuana retailer use. This provision shall not limit marijuana retailers who are actively being operated from choosing to transfer the license to a new location within the city, provided the special permit for the new location shall include a condition that the previous special permit shall be null and void and no additional location shall be created.
Second.
Second, thank you, Councilor Holmes. Okay. So, I'm inclined, based upon reading the planning board decision and my prior expressed concerns about complicating this matter, I would like to entertain a motion to strike the proposed change to 17-10.15G2. I think we're wading into waters that are outside our jurisdiction and pertain, and outside the jurisdiction more directly of the planning board. That's a state issue. Licensing is a state issue, so I don't know why we want to be in there. That's my opinion.
Second. Are you creating a motion to do that? Or?
Let's have discussion first, and then I'll do it. Thank you, Councilor Holmes.
So I disagree. We've had this conversation several times already. That all we are saying, and I know that this is Gary's thought on, because we don't care if they have 15 permits. The city doesn't care. But this is what the CCC suggests as language, honestly, or a language like this that actually says that they don't have 2, because the state only allows them 1. And that's what we're basically saying by putting in this resulting language, which says to anybody coming in or already has one that this is the fact. They're still only going to have 1 per what the state regulates. So we're just making it clear. I don't think it's any different than some of the other things that we do, that the state says one thing, like, so let's look at it this way. The feds don't agree with us even doing this, but we're still doing it. So this, to me, is just saying this is what we as a city are doing in order to transfer the permit, even though it's the state issue, it's not us. So we're doing exactly the same thing. The feds are saying no to marijuana. We're saying yes. We put it on in our own ordinance, and then the state says they can only have 1. We say they can have 1 million, but we are letting the state know that we're only allowing 1, that anybody that's already up and running will not have 2. They're only going to have 1. That's what we're saying. And that allows the state to feel comfortable. And the people or the entity that's already open to feel comfortable that the state is not going to fine them or shut them down. And I think that we should be able to do that. If we can put in a regulation that the federal government doesn't agree with, then we should be able to put something in there that says we're in agreement with what the state rules are. And that's my argument for leaving it in.
Thank you, Councilor.
And I appreciate Councilor Kobus putting that in there. I think it needs to be in there.
Councilor Kobus?
Thank you, Councilor DeSimone, and I agree with Councilor Reynolds, and I think it should stay. And one of the things I just wanted to clarify is that this is talking about the special permit, and that's our responsibility to grant the special permit for these. It's not talking about the state license.
But you use the word license. We don't grant licenses. The planning board grants special permits. So that's, the word license is different than special permit.
So we should change the word license to special.
Yeah, but that would be, I would push back even harder were you to do that, because our city planner and the law indicates a special permit is site-specific. You cannot take it anywhere. So.
No, that's, in my head, it was all the special permit, and you're very right in that language, so.
I'll tell you what.
So I thought it was the license.
I'll vote, we can vote it out with it, Councilor Reynolds and Councilor Kobus, but I may renew my position to strike before the full council.
Okay.
Is that fair?
That's
that way,
fair.
Council, you can resolve.
I'm unsure now.
Yeah.
You bring up a great point. And
Yep.
So
Yeah, but and I always thought it was to be the license to operate. So That's what I was
Use
thinking.
the word license is confusing, problematic, and that's one of the reasons I would push back very hard.
So
But I still,
let's relook at it.
okay, I want to vote it out tonight. You both can do your research, get your arguments ready, because I may make the similar motion before the full council.
Sure.
Counselor Holmes?
Thank you. So I just want to, okay, so 17-10.15G2, and then the paragraph below it, the resulting ring, the whole, is that what you want?
Yes.
What would you want to strike? I just
The
wanna-
proposed change, I would leave it as it is. I'm not going to make that motion here,
Okay.
but I reserve the right before, when it comes to the council, to just say don't change G2 at all.
Okay.
However, I would like to entertain a motion to amend 17-10.5F6 as it pertains to hours of operation. I would like those hours to expand. I think it's fair. They're in line with the hours of liquor stores. And so I would propose the hours right now, as you may all remember, that they're basically they can operate from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. I would like to expand that window of operation from 8 a.m. to 11 p.m.
Second.
Comments, questions, concerns to amend 17-10.5F6?
I certainly agree with you. We have to make it fair for competing and to keep these companies be business friendly and to help them succeed.
And I apologize on the floor for not having that read. It just occurred to me I didn't provide you all with a copy of this amendment, and my apologies for that.
I think you did. You emailed.
On my notes I did? Okay.
Yeah.
But just for the, so all we're doing, the language is exactly the same. We're literally just changing the hours. All right. Further discussion or comment? Yes, Councilor Bayer, hit it.
Don't laugh, but this is an absolute insult to the people that sat on this council, set up these rules and regulations, or where they should be. I'm a firm believer, if it isn't broke, don't try to fix it. You're trying to fix something, and it's going to cause a problem. Marijuana, established in the industrial zones, went through a multiple of tests and verification. We had input from our police chief, which he still stands by, right? It's not broke. Don't try to fix it. You're creating, or Todd, whoever wrote it, you're creating a monster. It's gonna bite you in the butt before it's over. Richard sat here, Jay sat here,
Laura sat here.
Sarah
You all
said
but
here.
Ian and Mike.
when we originally put it in the industrial zone,
Yes, sir.
and did we spend a lot of time, Laura?
Yes, you and I didn't agree on it, but yes, we did.
Okay, and it was voted.
Right. And I understand what you're saying.
Okay, I won't argue with you, Laura.
Councilor Dillon.
Yeah, thank you. And it's not about fixing things that are broken. Like, I understand your point, I really do. And no disrespect, but things change. We've had, so it was it 17 or 18? 4 years? I can't remember what year. Anyway, you know, I know there have been occasional traffic issues and stuff like that, but I got to tell you, I don't see this any different than liquor stores. I really don't. There is nobody, I'm 53 years old, there's nobody that I've ever known in my entire life that when people say that this is a gateway drug, I've had way more experience with alcohol problems with numerous people that I have known in my lifetime, and I don't think it should be treated any different than a liquor store. I really don't.
That happens to be your opinion, it's not a gateway drug. I have a close friend, his kid, son, right, is in serious trouble because he started with marijuana. It was laced when he was in college, and that gentleman is in deep. So, in my opinion, and I stated it before, you can have your own, Laura, but in my opinion, it's a gateway drug for youngsters. Maybe at your age, or my age, which I wouldn't even try it, But an older person might have more control over it. But young kids do not.
May I just finish?
I'm all
All
done.
right, yeah,
You don't
this is
have
it,
to
though.
argue
This is
with
it
me,
with the
no.
battle.
No, I'm just saying, when regarding the hours and everything, I think
Yeah.
they should be given the same hours as a liquor store. And I don't see, I mean, we have a million liquor stores in this city that are open all sorts of hours that everybody has access to, and the, 21 or over. And
We don't have a million liquor
All right.
stores. It's governed
So-
by,
We have a
Okay,
lot.
all right,
but
thank
anyway,
you.
Just to finish
So
it.
this is to get out of committee, you'll both have your opportunity to make comments at the full council. Yes, Council Dolan, what?
No, I'm
You
good.
good? Council Holmes?
Thank you. So, I really, Vice President Kobus, we were ahead of the game, and Attleboro has benefited from that. We made it go to the industrial and we were quick to kind of pass that. Really, when you look at the whole state, Attleboro was a leader in that. Now we're behind. We have places that are open right on Route 1 that are open later. These businesses are asking us to make an adjustment. We need to listen to them. So not even talking about this, ethical kind of dilemma here, just talking about as a business, we were ahead. And now the businesses are saying to us, you've pushed us in kind of an area in the industrial, and it's not benefiting us. We need to now look at this, and so that's what I think we're doing. And so I'm in favor of supporting this and supporting the hour changes. That concludes my comments. Thank you.
Thank you. So, yeah, I'll just.
Council DeSimone, I have a
Oh, I'm
point of
sorry,
order.
Council Conti.
I have a point of order. The way this prints out for the councilors is very confusing because someone has not lined up the chart with the headings. And so it's difficult to see what is not allowed and what is a special permit allowed. Do you follow what I'm saying?
I do.
Yes.
I do.
So, can you get that corrected? Because the way I'm reading this is that it's a special permit only in the industrial business park.
Well, that's the business, and the business pertains to adding general business and planned highway business. So it's not lined up, but the
Yes.
business,
But as I'm looking at this printed document,
yeah.
right, if these were pulled over here,
The two new ones. For here.
okay,
It doesn't line up, but.
Yeah.
so it needs to be fixed.
Yes.
Okay, so I would like to get out of committee tonight, and then it'll be fixed before the full council.
Well, we have to vote on the change that we just did.
Yeah, I'm just addressing Council Conti's point. Is that fair? Okay, I will have it fixed. So in regard to the amendment to expand the hours, I want to follow up on Council Dolan's. It's been my experience in life, two things. Alcoholism does far more damage in my personal experience than marijuana. And the number of professionals, and I do not use marijuana, but I have many friends who do. These are working professionals, so this idea that it's a gateway drug and it's kids, my friends, there's a lot of working professionals who are using marijuana legally, appropriately, responsibly. So I think what, like Council Holmes says, yeah, we're behind. So it's about time we get at least caught up, in my opinion. So just to be clear, Council Holmes, oh, and one more item. I had mentioned the discussion of setbacks. I'm going to reserve that for possible introduction as new business, not to muddy the waters, because I do think, in fairness, it would require a little more research on a public hearing. So for the record, we're voting on the amendments as they stand in the minutes, plus the increase of hours, right? That's everything that's on the table. Any further comments or concerns? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Motion passes. Thank you. And
So
Councilor
sorry.
Conti, I will get that chart rectified.
So we voted on the motion to amend, and now we have to vote on the motion.
Yes.
As amended, okay.
Yep. So, we've added the hour expansion, now we're gonna vote for the whole package, yes? All those in favor of amending Chapter 17 of the revised ordinances as proposed?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. All right, and that, my friends, concludes my meeting. Council Holmes, comments? Okay, wrap it up. Then I'd entertain a motion to adjourn at 8:23.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, we're adjourned. Thank you.
I'd like to call the City Property and Claims Committee to order at 8:24. From the docket of December 6, 2022, I entertain a motion to declare the following as surplus and available for disposition. A refrigerator, the make and model is a 2009 Amana. The number of the model is ABB2222FEW2. The serial number is KY4231016, and it is in poor condition.
Second.
Thank you. I think it's pretty self-explanatory, but does anyone have any concerns or questions?
Nope.
Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, that motion passes. From the docket of December 6, 2022, I entertain a motion to declare the following as surplus and available for disposition. 200 water meters, they are in used condition. One Brother ML 100 typewriter -N/N K8K975512, also in poor condition. And 2 Wanko lighted signboards. They are in working condition, but intermittently they are working. So the VIN number is S5F12S1619B1002740 and 5F12S161B1000721.
Second?
Yes.
I was trying to save you all that.
I know, I like to read it during the committee. So again, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Any questions or concerns, though? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, thank you, that motion passes. And I believe, and correctly, that is all the business City Property and Claims Committee has this evening. I would like to call for an adjournment.
Second?
Thank you, and we are adjourned at 8:26. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So we are adjourned.
I call Personnel, Veterans, and Human Services Committee to order at 8:26. Members of the committee, Council Waterman, Council Blair. All right. For the docket of December 6, 2022, I entertain a motion to approve expending funds in any future grant amendments regarding the receipt of a grant for $74,746.98 from the SHINE program through the Executive Office of Elder Affairs to the Council on Aging.
Second.
All right, thank you. Any questions, comments, or concerns?
Now, this is probably one of the most important grants we get.
Yeah, they're gonna-
For the Council on Aging.
Yeah, they're
Very
gonna
important.
be needing this quickly, and this is obviously very important to the seniors. Any other questions, comments, concerns? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. For the docket of December 6, 2022, I entertain a motion to accept the donation of $500 of Stop Shop gift cards totaling $500 from the Attleboro Elks Lodge.
Second.
All right, well, obviously, it's a great opportunity for us from the Elks Lodge. They're a great organization, and we've got a lot of good people there. Council Blair,
Been a member 59 years,
59 years. Wow.
and you gotta be 21 to join, so I snuck in a little early.
Yeah, it's
It's a great
it
organization.
is. They've done so much for the city. We're lucky to have a great group down there. Any other questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. All right. For the docket of December 6, 2022, I entertain a motion to accept the donation of $950 of grocery gift cards from the Holiday Spirit Committee to the Health Department Outreach Program.
Second again.
All right, obviously, this is a wonderful thing. This is great. Any questions, comments, concerns?
I just want to applaud the Holiday Spirit Committee. They do some great work.
Absolutely. All right. Any other questions, comments, concerns? All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, motion passes. From the docket of December 6, 2022, I entertain a motion to accept the donation of $750 of grocery gift cards from the Holiday Spirit Committee to the Veterans Office.
Second.
Thank you, sir. All right, yeah, obviously, this is, again, from the Holiday Spirit Committee, and as Council Waterman was saying, this is a wonderful thing. Any other questions, comments, concerns?
Nope.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion passes. On the docket of December 6, 2022, I entertain a motion to accept the donation of $800 of grocery gift cards from the Holiday Spirit Committee to the Council on Aging.
Second.
Councilor Blair. All right, any questions? Obviously, this is, again, this is wonderful, so they're doing a great job, so.
Yeah.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. All right, that's all for Personnel Veterans Human Services Committee. I call for adjournment at 8:29. All those in, second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, we are adjourned at 8:29.
Special Committee on Taxes canceled.
Okay. I know I call my committee, but I just like to state that was put in my committee about the underground propane tanks.
Oh,
I have talked to the fire chief, and he deems it no benefit to him.
Point of order, Peter, where you've
okay.
already adjourned your meeting,
All right.
but I
Well, we can
certainly
do
bring it
that.
up for discussion in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I
3
want to
weeks.
hear, for sure.
or at least when I get my next bill.
Yeah.
Just trying to get rid of it for you.
If everyone could just remember to turn in their minutes to Virginia, and everyone have a great Thanksgiving.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.